Welcome to At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
And this week, it's How to Get Away with Burying Your Grandpa 101.
And Having a Lion.
Rawr.
Napoleon and Samantha from 1972.
Two young runaways and an aging circus line. A movie odyssey of incredible adventure. Napoleon and Samantha. A story of compelling drama.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to help me bury my grandpa.
Featuring Michael Douglas, Will Geer, Johnny Whitaker, Jodie Foster, and Major.
This is definitely not what I was expecting.
How would anybody expect this? This is the strangest movie I think we've ever seen.
You're going to make that statement? It's the strangest movie we've ever seen?
Absolutely.
It is weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, this is not some kind of like, oh, well, this movie is totally normal. This is not like anything we've ever seen and probably will ever see again.
What do you think is the craziest part about this movie?
That he hired a stranger to bury his dead grandpa on the hill.
More than the fact they have a vegetarian lion just hanging out with him.
He's not a vegetarian, he drinks milk.
David.
What? He has no teeth, which he clearly has no teeth when
He's
he
a
roars.
Vegetarian.
No, he drinks milk.
That's a vegan.
No, vegans do not drink milk.
Right. So he's a vegetarian because he drinks milk.
I don't think that quite lines up, but maybe.
A vegetarian just doesn't eat meat.
Does a vegetarian even exist anymore? Aren't they all vegans?
They're all vegans now, yeah. So, yeah they're all vegans. But this was the 70s, so I mean, it was 1972.
So you're trying to call Major a liberal.
Yeah, he's a major liberal.
I just thought he was an old lion that could easily drink milk.
I mean, what were your initial thoughts of this movie, David?
It was weird. It was really weird, but somehow the acting in this movie is fantastic.
Okay, right? The acting in this movie is way better than it should be.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking the entire time.
Every single person nails their role, and the acting is phenomenal, which is the only thing that keeps you paying attention, because there are long, boring stretches of this movie. All of the actors are so good that it holds you. Yeah. In a weird way. No, I don't know how to explain it.
This movie should not be good, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's decent.
The story, there's really not much there.
No, there's almost nothing there.
But, I mean, at the same time, it has it all. It has lions. It has epic animal fights.
People die.
It's got a young and kind of sexy Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah, Michael Douglas is the ultra hot guy. I can see that dude must have just gotten, like, ultra laid from here until he dies.
Rawr!
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ.
No, he's super young in this. Like,
yeah, I know.
I was taken aback. I was like, oh my God, I've only ever seen you as an old man. What is this?
Yeah, or at least as a middle-aged man. You don't really see Michael Douglas as... He was probably, like 20-something in this movie?
He was very young in this movie.
Yeah.
It was very, not off-putting, but
crazy to see.
I was like,
Same with Jodie Foster, kind of, because, I mean, she's super young.
But she's still Jodie Foster. Like, it's funny because even the way she walks and her mannerisms... Oh, it's Jodie. It's Jodie.
There's Jodie. Hey, your candle shoe.
Got that hot feet.
Oh my God.
Let me read the synopsis really quick.
Yeah, do it. Even though this is the Amazon synopsis.
Well, because it's not on Disney Plus, so you do have to...
Which is curious. Usually when something's not on Disney Plus, there's a reason for it that we can figure out. Usually it's some kind of race thing. Yeah, there's nothing in this movie that means it couldn't be on Disney Plus, other than that it's kind of a bummer.
Well, this movie is kind of one of those movies that you probably watched as a kid and as an adult. Oh my God, I love Napoleon and Samantha. Like, if you watched it
really?
I don't know, it's got like adventure and animals. I could see it being a kid's favorite movie. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's got it all.
I don't know. It's got a lot of weirdness to it.
Yeah. Just not what I mean, I kind of did have it maybe like 25% right.
So yeah, we both expected some kind of companion animal. We just didn't expect that Napoleon and Samantha were the bros and that the animal was the other character.
A lion, no
A
less.
lion,
A freaking
yeah.
lion. There were so many times in this movie I was like, oh God, be careful.
And how high did that lion have to be through the whole thing?
I mean, clearly not high enough with with the fun facts.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Napoleon and Samantha from 1972. Rated G. Oh God. There's no genre.
Well, how could there be a genre? What genre is this movie? Westerns?
Oh, there it is.
No.
Well, IMDb changed their layout. So, I'm supposed to be going to Amazon. Hold on. Boop, 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 boop. 1 second. Boop.
Kelly.
Boop.
Dope.
Boop. 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 Boop.
Cut all this out,
Recharging.
Kelly.
And when you look up Napoleon, it only pulls up Napoleon Dynamite. Dun, dun, dun. Lily, what are you doing? Lay down. Beep. Beep. Back up. Beep. Okay. Napoleon and Samantha. Adventure Kids.
Okay, yeah.
Kids is a genre. 2 kids and a friendly lion take a perilous cross-country journey.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. that happened.
Yeah, no,
There's a little more to it, but that happened.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the IMDb synopsis is 2 young children who, rather than part with an old pet lion who once was a circus performer, go on a perilous mountain trek to stay with a recluse friend.
That happened.
Recluse friend.
Yeah, those are both really bad.
Yeah, no, and the Disney Plus synopsises are usually a little better.
Yeah, they're definitely longer, that's for sure.
The director, Bernard
McEvedy.
Evedy, pretty much just mostly done TV shows.
Yeah, I think there were very few movies. I don't know if I could really find one other than this. He just did a bunch of TV, Knight Rider, Dukes of Hazzard, A-Team, Vegas, Branded, all these classic shows.
And a lot of Westerns, too.
Yeah, tons of Westerns. He was all over it. But really, this just kind of fits the mold of what Disney did kind of from this period after, which is hire a TV director cheaply to make their movies.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about earlier, I mean, the acting was just so good. So Michael Douglas, obviously everybody knows who Michael Douglas is. I mean, when you think of Michael...
From such films as Basic Instinct...
That's what I think about Michael
Fatal
Douglas.
Attraction, Behind the Candelabra, which was fantastic.
I actually haven't seen that.
Oh, Kelly.
Doesn't that have Matt Damon in it? Matt Damon.
It's so good.
Is
it's
it?
so good. The Liberace movie, yeah, it's really good. When we get HBO Plus or Max, we'll watch that.
Okay.
Because it's fantastic. I loved it.
And it wasn't he in that Wall Street movie, too?
Oh, yeah, Wall Street, yeah. That's one of his best-known characters, Gordon Gekko.
I haven't seen that either. But I get all of
Neither.
I get all the Douglas people confused. Isn't
Oh.
there like 4 of them or something?
I think there's just him and his dad, Kirk.
I thought there was 3.
I don't think so.
Isn't there like
If there is, it's somebody that's not related to them.
Sammy Douglas?
I don't think so. So and then Jodie Foster, who we all know,
And this was
Candle Shoe.
This is her first movie.
Her first movie.
She's so young.
Yeah,
Like
she's
at
very
first,
young.
I didn't recognize her. The credits said Jodie Foster, and I was like, "What? You don't look like Jodie Foster." And then she started talking, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
you could
okay,
tell
you're
exactly
Jodie
who it was.
Foster."
And it's weird because you can basically see that she was the same person from here until now. Now you can see why she's a recluse and crazy. It makes sense. Like, oh, you've been famous since you were 9 years old.
Yeah, is she 9 in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, she looks way younger. She looks like
Yeah,
she's
no,
like
I know.
6
I
in
know.
this movie. She
I
looks
know.
very young.
Well, she could be younger because they could have filmed this longer before it came out. So she's... I said 9 because this would put her around 10.
Yeah.
So I just went 9. But yeah, she looks super young. But she's like an adult. It's weird.
Yeah. What do you mean she's an adult?
Her ability to speak, orate, and think, she's an adult.
I mean, think about when we watched Candle Show, we both said she's a weird lady. Like, she's very much mature beyond her years type of
clearly
lady.
a highly intelligent person. It's undoubtable. And really, the big star of the show is Johnny Whitaker, and he's amazing.
And he didn't really do much else.
He did Tom Sawyer with Jodie Foster.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You haven't seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's great. And then he did Sigmund and the Sea Monster, which was a stupid TV show. And then he's done a couple other weird things. But yeah, otherwise, he's not in a lot. But he was super good in this.
Yeah, no, I was actually... Because it takes a lot for a kid to not annoy me in a movie.
Right, he was great.
And he was really good. He did all of these super emotional parts really well.
Right.
He was really...
He was the Rock
really
of this
good.
movie. I mean, really, if he would have even kind of remotely sucked, this movie would have been awful.
Yeah, and he actually had pretty good chemistry with Michael Douglas, too, like, during their scenes together.
Well, he had good chemistry with Michael Douglas and Jodie Foster, and I see why they cast Jodie Foster and him in Tom Sawyer. Makes sense. I mean, because Jodie Foster's Becky, and he's Tom Sawyer.
Right. I've only seen, like, modern iterations of that, and I've read the book, obviously.
Well, yeah, the book is mostly what I go off of. But
yeah.
I haven't seen a modern iteration. That would be weird.
The gentleman that played the clown, Vito Scotti, he was also in Herbie Goes Bananas and The Boatniks.
Oh, was he the guy in Herbie Goes Bananas who was in the cruise? He was one of the cruise guys trying to wrangle him? You don't know?
I don't know. I just wrote down that he was in both of them because his picture looked familiar.
He does look familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. The Will Greer guy who was Grandpa, who was really good as well.
He kind of reminded me of the guy who plays Grandpa Joe in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I was going to say the same thing.
They look like the same dude.
And they kind of had the same vibe when he first came on the screen, but later on he didn't, which is good. But he was in a really famous movie with Robert Redford, Jeremiah Johnson. Just a Western, but he was the second lead with Robert Redford. So,
I don't like Westerns. That'd be why I don't know anything about that.
I don't either, but I know that that's a really famous movie. Like, I know that that's a big deal that he was the second lead in that movie.
Yeah. And, we can't forget Zamba, the lion. He the main star. He was also in such films as Fluffy the Lion and The Lion.
He was the MGM lion for a long time.
What?
Whoa. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes, that's what freaked me out. I was like, are you kidding me? That's the
crazy.
MGM lion?
That's crazy. Okay, that is a very fun fact.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. Little buddy. He's dead now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on, he was missing half of his teeth in this movie. I'll give the last shout out to Henry Jones. He was Mr. Gutteridge, the shopkeeper.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah.
He was in Vertigo and the movie The Grifters, which was in the 80s, which is a great movie with John Cusack and Angelica Houston.
Oh, I do love Angelica Houston.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
She's great.
With both of them. I thought he stuck out too. He was very good. That's the thing. This movie was chock full of good acting and good characters.
The acting was way better than the writing.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that.
For sure. Did you have any fun facts, David?
Well, I have a lot. You go ahead and go first.
Well, there really was one main fun fact. You probably have the same one.
Of course. That's why I had you go first.
Yeah, so Jodie Foster was attacked by a substitute lion, not our friend Zumba, a different lion, during filming, where he picked her up and shook her around and really f***ed her up, and she has scars to this day from this lion attack.
And a lifelong fear of cats.
Yes! Alurophobia? That's pretty crazy, actually, when you think about it.
That is really crazy.
That's insane.
So, and one of mine was the MGM logo thing.
Where did you find that? I didn't see that.
I saw it on his credits.
Oh my god. On the Lions credits?
Or no, I think I was looking at a different website.
Rawr.
And I was just impressed. I was like, are you kidding me?
That's pretty impressive.
Especially this week with Amazon buying MGM and it's in everybody's brain.
Oh.
This will come out a few weeks after that, obviously, but...
I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
I haven't
man,
paid
that's
attention
super on my radar.
Anything.
But Stu Raffle, who wrote this movie, this is his second film that he wrote. The first one was also an animal movie because guess what? You know what he did on this movie besides writer? He was the animal wrangler.
Oh.
So this guy wrote a couple movies and is a huge famous animal wrangler. So obviously he writes animal movies for him to wrangle in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This movie was shot mostly in Oregon, which I thought was interesting because when I was watching it, I was, oh, this looks like kind of like Montana.
No, see, it looks like Grants Pass.
Well, yeah, it was shot in John Day, Oregon, which is in that same county as Grants Pass.
Oh, it's in Josephine County? Yeah.
Or no, not Josephine County. It's in a different county, but it's close to that, I think.
Close to that, yeah.
Do you have any more?
No, that's it.
I have one more. I mean, it's not really a fun fact, but it was nominated for an Oscar for Best Dramatic Score.
Shut up. I mean, the score was fine, but okay.
I mean, it's got the super sweeping dramatic notes. It's got the 70s chase notes. It's got it all.
So let's walk through this.
Napoleon and Samantha and Major.
So we start out with a pretty typical Disney opening of these.
I love it.
Fabric cutouts of the characters.
It's like
on a map.
Yeah, it's like felt characters.
Yeah, felt characters and a great score. So I guess that maybe is part of it. Is just a little score with all the credits. So we see. When it said Michael Douglas, my jaw dropped. I was shocked. Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
Because and when we first started actually seeing the movie, I was like, oh, it must be a different Michael Douglas. It was not.
Yeah, and it's very similar to the Parent Trap intro in a way.
It is very similar to the Parent Trap.
Not a catchy song, but it's, similar.
Similar visually, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And we get this whole little scene of Napoleon and Samantha. They're going about these antics, little kid adventures.
At first you'd think maybe they're playing cowboys and Indians, but they're just playing he's an Indian.
And he's stealing
bottles from the local store.
And selling them back to the store, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
But also awful.
That's so small town. But that dude totally knew that he was stealing the bottles and giving them back to him.
You think so?
Absolutely. He knew it. He doesn't care. Because the other secret part of this movie for anybody, especially anybody under 30, this is how kids used to live.
Yeah.
You used to scrape, scrounge, and run around town, and this is how you lived.
Yeah, and they're just going all over the place, and then he's like, oh, you want to see my horse? His name is Charlie. And this scene has no bearing on anything else in the movie.
I think it does. Because, okay, so they get the bottles, they trade them for a couple suckers and some jelly beans. They feed the jelly beans to the horse. They get on the horse and just take it across the field to a stream, get off the horse, pat the horse, and say goodbye. But really what it shows is that Napoleon is a very brave kid with no fear, and he just does cool stuff.
Yeah, and
Samantha follows him because she trusts in Napoleon.
Yeah.
It kind of sets up their relationship really well, I think.
It does, and when they get back to Samantha's house, she has this cranky nanny lady, Gertrude.
Well, because her parents are out of town.
Right.
Gertrude, which is funny because they live in like a town of 500 people.
They never really established where this is supposed to take place at all.
They never said anything about it.
Yeah, which it's not really relevant, I guess, but...
not at all, yeah.
And Jodie Foster here, even when she's so young... She is like, oh my God, it's Jodie Foster, because they're walking back to the house and she says something about like her dress being dirty, and she says some sassy comment back. I'm like, oh my God, it's Candle Shoe.
Well, she's like a little adult. She's like a little baby adult. No, she's crazy.
She doesn't really look like Jodie Foster, but then there's certain times where she turns or makes a face, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Jodie Foster.
Exactly. It's ludicrous. And this Johnny Whitaker kid is the most confident, steady kid actor I have ever seen in my life.
He's pretty great.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and he goes home and gets with his grandpa.
Yeah, we meet Grandpa, who's smoking a pipe on his hammock. He's just having a good time.
Yeah.
And he's the captain.
Yeah.
And Napoleon addresses him as such.
I mean, it's not really addressed, but it sort of is. Like, his grandpa clearly is just telling him a bunch of lies.
Well, he's he's telling Grandpa stories.
I know, but like most of it's a lie.
Well, it's a lie, but I mean, it's just a stretch of the truth. Like his grandpa's, talking about his adventures of the world and kind of stretching it out and kind of having fun with the kid because that's what you do. You have fun with the kid.
Yeah, he's a lying old.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. That's what I would do. I mean, I can't wait to have grandkids. I can't wait to have kids.
No. No pressure. No pressure. They go for. I don't honestly. At the beginning of the movie, I didn't take very good notes.
Hang on, so I did. So when he gets back to Grandpa, he wants to go to the movies. Grandpa says, "I need a back rub if we're going to go to the movies." So he gives Grandpa a back rub. Also, they go to the movies, and it's a course about some seafaring thing, and they're talking about the movie, but they all of a sudden they just run across a clown and a lion.
Yeah, it's this part, like, this whole movie is really strange.
And this is the strangest part of this movie.
Yeah, because then they just sit down and start, and Grandpa's like, yeah, give me some of that whiskey or whatever they're drinking.
It was wine, and he pours, I swear, I don't know if I saw this right, I swear that he pours milk for the lion and wine for Grandpa and for Napoleon.
Yeah, I don't know about for Napoleon, too.
I think he did.
Well, but Napoleon had like a milk mustache, though, so I think.
Oh, did he? Okay,
yeah, no,
I might have missed that.
Yeah. I think he poured milk for Napoleon and the lion,
and for Major. We should just call him Major.
Yeah, for Major, and he's just chilling, and you're like, oh, it's a lion. Like, okay, no big deal.
So this is one of the weirdest things. Is I don't care who the this European little is. I'm not getting within 30 feet of a lion, no matter how chill you say the lion is.
Yeah, and the kid's just like chilling. Like,
the kid sits literally right next to the lion. There's no way I'm getting next to that lion. None. Especially a male lion. No way.
Yeah, it was really strange, and basically the clown talks them into taking the lion.
Well, he's like, hey, I'm retiring to Europe and I can't take the lion. And obviously the grandpa had told the kid he was a lion tamer for like the king of Nigeria or something. And which was a clear lie, but he believed it. And the guy's like, oh, really? Oh, the lion is yours. So he gives them the lion and they take it.
And because he only drinks milk.
Yeah, he only drinks milk.
Apparently, which is just, okay, yeah, no, that's not a thing.
No, that actually, if you think about it, the lion, no teeth, can't really chew meat, can't really do much of that.
Yeah.
It could survive drinking milk.
I guess that's true. So they take him home and they put him in the chicken coop. And I'm sitting there thinking, how many of these chickens died during filming for this scene and a later scene? But
this lion was so doped up, it definitely didn't eat any chickens. Like, they must have kept this lion so full of tranquilizers that it just didn't do.
Correct, sir.
Yeah, because it was unsettling in a way, but I was also like, I don't like this.
And they just kept feeding it milk, like it was fine.
Yeah.
Staying in the chicken coop, which with one push of its paw, it could have knocked the entire chicken coop over, and that would have been it.
It was a very majestic lion.
Yeah, the lion is super chill.
I can't even get over the MGM thing, by the way. I'm still shocked by that. Right? I'm like, oh my god.
So, because then you have to wonder if every single time you have to wonder if they filmed the lion for each intro.
No, I think it's the same intro.
No, because they said he was the lion from this year to like 20 years later. So that makes me think that the intro is different every single time.
Is it? I don't know.
I think that the roar is different for every movie. Because otherwise you'd have one lion and that would be it.
Is the MGM Casino in Vegas technically owned by MGM Studios?
A good question that can't be answered here.
Interesting. So basically, he goes to school, and then Grandpa has a heart attack, is what it looks like?
Yeah, he's definitely, I think he's dying of congestive heart failure.
Yeah,
he's having a bunch of little heart attacks. He knows that he's going to die real soon.
And he tries to send a letter to some anonymous person, which we find out is Napoleon's uncle.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly. I don't remember how we got to the store, but we're in the store, right?
Well, they just go to the store. I mean, because they're getting all the milk for Major.
I just know that cash register is sick.
Yeah, it is sick.
It's like, I want one of those, like, as a decoration piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's really cool.
Ooh, we should try and do that. At this point, the storekeeper, who is a lifelong friend of the captain, is like, hey, you don't look good. Are you okay? You look a little peaked.
I know. And this is where it started getting kind of, like, serious.
Oh, I saw where it was going.
It was just uncomfortable, and
when he had his little mini heart attack, I knew that dude was gonna die.
And so Grandpa's dying, and Napoleon is trying to take care of him. He makes him breakfast with burnt toast, onion sandwich with mustard.
But before that, we get the scene of them, because this to me is very memorable.
What?
Well, prior to this, after the store, there's a scene where Grandpa's napping, Napoleon is laying on the lion, and like Grandpa's feet are basically on the lion, and they're all up on the hill taking a nap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just, they're just like, oh, this is so great.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
because
blah.
it's a very sweet scene, and it kind of plays forward.
Yeah, and it's establishing the relationship between Napoleon and his grandpa.
Right, and Grandpa's like, hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm probably dying. Like, he's laying it out for Napoleon in a really good way.
He tells him, what do you do with a machine when it breaks down and blah, blah, blah. And, like, basically this whole reincarnation.
Well, he makes it easy for Napoleon to accept the fact that he's dying, and he does a great job.
It was kind of sad.
It was a little sad. But the way that Grandpa laid it out was perfect for like an 11-year-old kid. Hey, I'm leaving this body, but I'm going to be free after this. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to be sad. There's no reason for any of that. You just keep kicking it. Fine.
And he tells him, oh, your uncle's coming. But then
he said he sent the letter.
Yeah. But then the next day, Napoleon comes home from school and his grandpa is dead. Right. And he's just handling it like a champ. Like, because Samantha's
there. And he's like, hey, did you ever know anybody who died? And he's like, oh, my grandpa just did. And then he gives the same speech that his grandpa gave to Samantha. And he's just taking it like a baller. I love it.
Yeah, it was upsetting, but also it was interesting that they didn't show Grandpa being dead, but it was kind of more.
I really actually kind of enjoyed that.
It was more effective that way. Yeah. It was just like, oh, he's dead.
Like the only person that really saw him dead was Napoleon, Danny, and Samantha, and it was kind of
basically they're like Napoleon's like, oh, my uncle was supposed to write. He looks in the mailbox, and the letter was sent back because he didn't get it
as undeliverable.
While Napoleon is talking to Samantha's. Oh, they're just very casually. You need to, because he's saying,
you can go to the employment department
to find somebody to help bury my grandpa up on the hill, because he's like, I can't tell anybody. I can't go to the orphanage. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, yeah, I don't blame him for not wanting to go to the orphanage.
Because also they'll take Major away.
Yeah, and they're going to take Major away. That is actually the driving point of this story, is that he doesn't want to lose Major. So he goes to the employment office, and we see all these like older loser guys. Looks like a bunch of alkies and flunkies and ups. But he gets to the front of the line, and there's this young guy who's like, "Hey, General," and he's like, "I'm not a general, I'm a captain." He's like, "Well, where's your hat?" "Oh, I just became a captain today."
So that's where we meet young Michael Douglas, and you're just like, "Whoa, hello,
sir, you are hot to trot."
When you think Michael Douglas, you think old man, and he's young, and I'm like, oh my god, you're so young. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's literally like the definition of young and hot.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, seriously, there's no other way to say it.
So basically, Napoleon just follows him and, explains to him, oh, it's a secret, you can't tell anybody. And he's, oh, okay, I won't tell anybody.
So, and we get this vibe that he's kind of like a philosophical dude. He wants to talk about all these things like ecology or Wall Street. Like, he's a learned man. So, as he's up there at the property looking at the old man, and Napoleon explains to him what his grandpa told him, he's like, oh, I can dig wanting to just have a simple burial on your own land. Like, I get it. That's cool. I'll do it. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. Let's do this. Napoleon's like, let's do it before sunset so he can get his sunset, and they do it. And there's a little funeral with Samantha, Major, Danny, and Napoleon, and it's very sweet. Danny says a few words that are very wise and fit with the whole vibe that Grandpa would have liked. And it's very sad and very weird.
A little bit. But I mean, he's trying to be a good guy. He's trying
No, he's a great guy. He does a great... I mean, this is the thing about this movie, is that there's all these really slow parts where you want to pull your hair out. But there's stuff like this that is fantastic. Totally not a Disney movie. Totally weird. That just doesn't fit in our normal kind of jive. You know, it's not what we usually get.
No, it's, and basically they go back in the house and Samantha is all, oh, you can stay with me. And then all of a sudden Danny's like, oh, great. I don't have to worry about this kid anymore.
Well, yeah, at first Danny's like, no, I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm going to stay here till your uncle gets here. And Samantha's like, oh, no, you can stay with me. Okay, fine. So Danny leaves.
But he shows them where he lives.
Samantha is like, I'm going to go home, but I'm going to show up tomorrow. Yada, yada, yada. She shows up the next day, ready to go. Oh, but Danny gives her the chicken first. She gives him the rooster, which nobody wants a rooster, which is really weird.
Yeah, it's a Doodle.
She shows back up the next morning with Doodle in tow, with her knapsack, ready to go. She's like, I'm going with you.
Yeah, and
the only deal is that she can't cry.
Yeah. Okay. And they're going along their journey. There's some sweeping shots. And then all of a sudden there's a cougar.
Rawr. And the cougar kind of chases Samantha, but really it ends up chasing the chicken.
Yeah, which is, and I wonder how many chickens died filming this scene. But
I'm going to say at least 8, because there are plenty of scenes where the cougar legit caught the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah, where we can see, oh, the chicken got caught. It got 8.
got ate up.
That's exactly right. Oh, that's
But then, you know.
What's the little guy's name?
What?
The little guy and the shaggy dog.
Moochie?
That's another Moochie memorial quote. He got it up.
I thought you got it up or something.
Yeah. And then basically, you know, the lion comes and roar, and the cougar runs away, and oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, there was no actual lion-cougar fight.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing.
Yeah. I feel like later it might have been 2 trained animals.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But they, you know, Samantha's all, I'm tired, but then they spot a barn and they're like, oh great, we can sleep there.
So they go to this barn and all the animals are super nervous because Major's a lion and they're all freaking out.
Yeah.
And Napoleon milks a cow to feed Major.
Don't squeeze too hard or she'll kick you.
Yeah, it's like, what? Are you serious?
That's what she said.
Yeah, it is what she said. So they do that. They leave. It's like, where was the farmhouse or the farmer?
I don't know.
The farmer should have been out there first thing in the morning milking the cow. It just, it's weird.
Yeah, that whole part was a little,
suspicious.
just very convenient. We'll just say that.
Yeah. It was very, very, very convenient.
And they decide to leave Doodle there, which, by the way, Doodle is a great name for a chicken.
It is. The thing we forgot to mention after the cougar scene is that Doodle rode Major after that.
Oh, yeah. No, they're like, they were all riding Major. Like,
yeah, but after Doodle got attacked, he got his turn to ride Major into the barn.
I imagine being like young Jodie Foster, like, yeah, I got to ride a lion, like.
And then it ate me.
Well, it was a different lion. That was.
Yeah, but still. So then we get the cats hate the water trope when they're trying to go across the stream. And they like kind of pull Major into a stream. It's very strange.
Yeah, there was a lot of little scenes like that in this movie that didn't really have any relevance to anything at all and just happened.
Right. So then we get they're going over a mountain, and Major gives up,
And just lays down because he's
lays
scared
down.
or whatever.
So Samantha has to like jump over Major. Napoleon jumps back over the other way and falls off the cliff. So Samantha has to throw the rope that's around Major's neck down to Napoleon, and then eventually Major drags Napoleon back to safety from death.
Yeah. And then we cut back to town, and this is where the Gertrude nanny, oh, I can't find Samantha.
Oh, but this is perfect. This is exactly what happened. She'd call the cops, of course.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention earlier when Napoleon was in town, Gertrude saw him with Danny,
Right.
and the cops were like, "Oh, you said it was some young hippie type."
Yeah. Danny's a hippie man,
Which is not, no.
Yeah,
I
he's got
mean-
long enough hair.
Maybe. But they also find Grandpa's grave when they're investigating.
Yeah, somehow the cops they go up to Napoleon's house.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, the grave has a hump on it and a cross. I mean, they could have given a more nondescript grave to old Granddad, but they didn't. At this point, we get... Oh, after this, it's bear time.
It's a bear, Mage! Come on, Major, it's a bear! Come on! Napoleon, he won't budge!
Oh yeah, the bear comes, and there's a whole fight scene with the lion and the bear that's very...
After Napoleon throws rocks at the bear.
Yeah. Get out of here, go. And he's like yelling at Samantha. He's like, Samantha, bear!
The bear, help!
What-
Come
what-
on, get Major up.
Like, what is Jodie Foster gonna do in this situation? Like,
Hit Major? I
guess.
don't know. So after this, they kind of figure out that they can't find Danny. Samantha has a little cry, which she wasn't ever supposed to do. Napoleon is completely confident. Like, his dick is just out, rolled out, and he's like, oh, we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
we can
and
live off the land,
and he
but
says...
we are lost.
Yeah, he says... She's all, I'm sorry I was crying, and he's all, girls can't help it sometimes. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm gonna go fish like a man.
Well, he's gonna go hunt. So he goes after a rabbit, a squirrel, a fish that he catches and drops, and he comes back with some snails.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is this, Mini Bear Girls? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, come on.
And neither of them will eat the snails because I don't know why. Then Napoleon says, oh, I'm going to go out on a scouting mission. And as soon as he does, Major takes off, and Samantha has to follow him. Oh, and Major found Danny.
Yeah, and they're all running down the hill, Danny, 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 Danny. And then Danny's like really excited to see them, which is a little weird. But he's like, oh my god, kids.
Oh my god, kids came over to the mountain.
Yeah, and
he wants the whole story. He's a little bit pissed.
yeah, he's like, how did you get here? And they're like, we went over the mountain. He's like, what? And like, how did you do that?
And he's like, Napoleon, you need to be useful.
Yeah, and then he just like, oh, I'm gonna go into town and find your mom or whatever.
And I'm gonna leave you here with this guy I met in the woods named Mark.
You mean Mark, pedophile Dahmer? Like,
Yeah.
he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like,
He does, and he's super creepy.
Yeah.
Mark is like the creepiest person you've ever seen.
No, and there's a whole scene where the kids are sleeping, and they zoom in on his face, and he's like, meh.
Yeah, I'm gonna flick both
I'm
of
creepy.
you.
I'm touching my penis right now. Like, it's super creepy. Bad parenting, Michael Douglas Danny. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, really.
And so Danny goes to see Gertrude, and of course she calls the police because she's the OG Karen.
Right, she really is. And the police just don't even want to hear what he has to say because they're the OG police. They arrest him, take him in.
And the whole town shows up.
Yeah, so the gossip train just arrives as a mob in the police station.
Yeah. And
he after a whole bunch of shenanigans, Danny sees that Mark is a wanted, creepy man, and he's like, hey, you guys got to take care of him. This is the guy I left the kids with. Nobody would listen to him, so he breaks out of jail. And then we get a very long, very wacky chase scene.
David, are you surprised? Would it be a 1970s, 1960s, any Disney movie without an obligatory chase scene?
This isn't obligatory as much as it is the last third of the movie.
It's pretty long.
It's very long.
There's a lot of like close-ups of Michael Douglas on a motorbike, and he's like, me.
There's basically no dialogue for the rest of the movie.
No, there's none. And he's like zooming in and out of construction trucks, and they go around all this
lots of construction in this area.
Okay. And they get to some weird thing, and the police's car gets like stuck in the mud, and then they're like, oh, there's a Jeep, let's take it. And then
they commandeer just a random Jeep, which I assume belongs to Gypsy. I'm assuming the weird guy at the gas station was Gypsy.
Yeah, and he's like, what are you doing with my Jeep? Don't worry about it, because that's how cops act. Apparently.
They're allowed to commandeer cars.
Apparently. And he, like, runs into some logs, and then he's running, and the helicopter is like...
Well, yeah. He runs into a bunch of logs that bite, so he has to run.
Let's just preface, this whole chase scene, this is at least 10 minutes.
Oh, it's longer than that.
I don't know, but it's long. Because they're like, there he is. Oh my god, over here. There he is.
And somehow, in the helicopter, they figure out that guy is telling the truth.
But then they're like, let's get him.
No, they wanted to follow him because he's because Danny is kind of like going like this to them, like, follow me, like, come on, let's go. And they're like, oh, he was telling the truth the whole time just because that Mark guy is from this area. So the cops land ready to just totally back him. They catch Mark. And Danny explains that, oh no, he's sick. He has to go to the hospital.
And the kids were tied up.
And they said that Mark was playing a giant, and he was about to stick his dong in their mouth.
Yeah, something like that.
Definitely.
Where did Mark go?
Your kid's all right?
Sure. Hey, it was a helicopter, wasn't it?
What's been going on here?
Just a game. Then all the noise and Mark ran out like he was scared or something. We were his prisoners and he was a wicked giant.
After all this, Napoleon, like, tries to sneak away.
With Major.
Yeah. And so,
he's gonna go live with the Indians.
Danny goes out there, he's like, bro, there's no Indians out here. And they go over the ridge, he's like, okay, I guess I'll go to the orphanage. That's the end of the movie.
But does he say he's going to go to the orphanage, or is he going to say he's going to live with Danny?
No, because Danny is all, they get people together and they place you with people, and like Danny clearly probably came from that situation.
No, because Danny was a Daniel blah 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 the third. He was a rich kid. Well, he's living on a trust fund, doing this thing in the mountains.
Well, but he's telling him about all the things about...
That's what he believes about an orphanage. That's the problem, is that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he's convincing this poor kid to go himself.
Yeah, but either way, that's the end of the movie, because then they're just like, oh, jolly music, and they're running off into the sunset with Major.
Yeah, the end. I mean, what a weird movie.
You got lions and, a Jeffrey Dahmer guy. And it was just, I can't, cougars and bears, oh my.
Well, the cougars and bears to me were the most, that I believe that.
What was your favorite part, David?
So, I'm going to say that Napoleon's complete lack of any kind of fear and his total self-assuredness. So basically the part where he's just kind of like, Jodie Foster's all going to be okay, and they're just trekking across the mountains. I really like that. That's cool to me.
All right. I enjoyed the "Will you bury my grandpa, Danny?" where he's in the employment office. He's like, "I need you to bury my grandpa," and he's like, "What?" And
my second runner-up is the whole Danny gets to Gertrude's to Danny escapes scene where there's the lynch mob. That's funny as hell.
Well, I mean, the escape scene is, although it was long, I mean, it wasn't bad.
It was funny. And it was good. It was a good chase scene.
I was like, what's going to happen? Oh, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give my second runner-up to the cougar chasing the chicken.
That was actually really good.
Clearly, I said no notable songs, but then it was
So did I.
Nominated for a score.
Which I don't get, because the score in this is not as good as the score in a lot of movies we've seen.
I mean, maybe it
was just a weak year for scores.
1972.
Could have been. It
It's all
seem,
very...
It just didn't seem to stick out.
Yeah. So our main character, Napoleon,
Sam, and Samantha is also the other main character.
Napoleon was, he was great.
He was excellent. That guy nailed that role.
Well, and just
super confident young kid, just ready for all adventures because that's how he was taught by his grandpa to be. His grandpa's like, yo, life is going to be a crazy adventure. Just do it.
Well, and, it's just that's what you would think of two kids going off into the wilderness. That's kind of how they would be,
Well, two kids back in the day. If you sent two kids off into the wilderness now, they would have been dead 10 steps in.
Where's my face, Mom?
Yeah, where's my phone? Oh, man.
Yeah, there really wasn't a villain.
So I called the villain as the man. The man is going to take away the lion. Don't talk about our lion. It's the man all the way through. The authorities. The man is the evil character through most of this, other than creepy Mark.
Jeffrey Dahmer Mark, you mean?
Yeah.
Really, that's the look they were going for. He looks just like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Even though it was well before Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, but it looks the same.
He looks like a creepy serial killer.
Like that. Okay, I just want to point out the scene where the children are in Danny's cabin and they're sleeping, and they zoomed in on Mark's face, and he's like, let me twirl my mustache. Like, it was really, gross. It was really uncomfortable.
Mark's very few scenes were disgustingly effective.
Oh, God. It's just sick. It's disgusting.
So for side characters, we got Danny, who was great. Michael Douglas knocked this shit out of the park.
He was pretty good. He was a very compelling, your eyes were just drawn to him, other than him being attractive. He was just...
I think it was just mostly him being attractive, but...
But he's... you got Gertrude Karen,
who was also great as a Gertrude. That's exactly what you would think of.
Yeah, and she can go away. It's fine.
Yeah, but, exactly.
No, she's just a typical old lady,
And the storekeep, you're a little small businessman. So the cinematography of this movie was fine.
Nothing really to write home about.
Excellent landscapes, but who cares? It wasn't shot in any way or form that was bad or good.
Yeah, really, the acting is so overpowering that the landscapes don't mean that much.
Right. So, what was your biggest surprise or disappointment from this movie?
Can we just talk about the lion? What the fuck? The lion? What?
And how and where? Yeah.
What?
I get it.
And then secondary honorable mention surprise, just Michael Douglas and his majestic face. I don't know. I was just like, oh my God, your hair and your face are so majestic.
To me, it was his hair. His hair was the star of the show.
It was quite glorious.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go ahead and say, for disappointment, that this is the slowest movie since the silent movie era. This movie was ultra slow.
It was a little slow.
Ultra slow. There were many points where it was minutes between people talking, and it was rough.
Yeah, it was...
That part was really rough, and it kind of knocked things down for me. And then, as a surprise, we've talked about it many times, the ultra quality acting in this movie is unbelievable.
Because no one's heard of this movie.
Right, but you should have, and you should watch it because it's so good how good the people are in this movie.
You know what,
It's
though?
unbelievable.
I feel like a lot of these older movies probably had a lot of really good actors that just...
But I think that that's always the best quality of a lot of these older movies is the actors.
Yeah, and it's just not the same anymore.
I mean, because one of the things I didn't get into that I meant to mention with Jodie Foster is in the OG Freaky Friday that we're going to have to watch.
Yeah, I know.
So that could be crazy. I don't know if she's the main character. I don't think she is.
She's
but...
the daughter.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be crazy.
Because she's already like an old woman, so, it's perfect.
Yeah, holy. That's
so,
going to be nuts.
Did you come up with any notable lines or quotes? Moochie moments?
The Moochie moments. Be careful when a woman agrees with you.
Oh my god. The shopkeeper giving him advice. And he's like, oh, I'm so uncomfortable. Hi, Samantha. I'm Napoleon.
Because she's really got it out for you at that point.
Apparently, as you're like 7. Whatever. No, mine was when Jodie Foster said, you can't be a cowboy and an Indian.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, too.
Like, that's not correct.
So if you remade this movie, Kelly, what would you do?
So, actually, this is kind of just a weird take I have, but this movie had a lot of similar vibes as a lot of Studio Ghibli movies do. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if this was animated in kind of a Studio Ghibli, like, style with some more wacky characters.
I could see that.
Like, the lion and the kids,
and the sadness.
There's
a lot of sadness in those movies.
It just kind of had. I felt like that a lot throughout this movie. That if it felt very Studio Ghibli, like it could have been that type of movie, and so I would remake it animated and in the animation style of Studio Ghibli.
So I kind of zagged. So I would pick up the pace a lot more. And have a lot more focus on the ending with Creepy Mark. And make it more of a murder porn style story.
I could get down with that.
I think that would be really effective. Because I feel... I mean, of course at this time, nobody cared about that at all. But nowadays, if you really focused on leaving the kids alone with Creepy Mark...
And had a scene with them.
Not a scene, but like 8 scenes... That would be the more of the focus of the movie, and it would be a huge movie if you did that if you could find 2 child actors that were as good as this, which I don't think is possible now.
Yeah, it's hard. Do you have any final thoughts?
I don't quite understand who this movie is for.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's
tough. I mean...
Because I didn't hate it, like, at all, but I also didn't really like it that much.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of saying it's really one of the most in-between movies we've ever seen.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just an odd movie. Like, but I feel like if you saw this as a kid, you'd be like, oh my god, Napoleon and Samantha.
But see, maybe. I mean, because I can see you hating this as a kid, too.
Yeah, maybe. It was surprisingly enjoyable, but not great.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So, what did you find for a budget for this movie?
I found nothing.
Yeah, I could not find anything about any kind of money or anything with this movie that wasn't anything. There was no money figure for this movie. I assume it did okay because they made another movie with Jodie Foster.
Yeah, no, I couldn't find anything about the budget at all.
Yeah, so that was weird. So, Kelly, if you had to rate this movie, what would you rate it?
So, I mean, it's not a very good movie, but it's not horrible. Like, I didn't hate watching it. I gave this movie a 57%.
Ooh.
Just because it's very much middle of the road, like, it's fine, I enjoyed parts of it, and really, if the acting had been worse, this movie would have been like a like a 10%.
Oh, it would have been like a 9.
But really, the acting, like, especially, like, really Michael Douglas, he really elevated this movie quite a bit. And the kid, Whitaker, or is that his name, Whitaker?
Yeah, Whitaker, well, his real name, yeah.
Napoleon, he really elevated this movie. And I feel...
Yeah, I don't think we talked enough about how good Jonathan Whitaker was in this movie.
If it had been anyone else, I don't think I would have given it that high of a score, but I feel pretty good about a what did I say? Oh god, where did it go?
About 57?
Yeah, 57%. I feel pretty good about that.
So I'm a little different than you. I give it a 59%.
Oh, shut up. You're such an idiot.
For me, this movie really lost points with it being ultra slow.
It was pretty slow, yeah.
I mean, this movie, for a lot of points of it, was just so slow. But the acting was incredible. Every single character that gets a minute of screen time in this movie kicks. They're all amazing. And it makes the movie work so well.
Yeah, because if it was anybody else, it would be a garbage movie.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
Like, the writing is not good, the dialogue is not good, the story is kind of stupid.
It is, but Johnny Whitaker kicks and his confidence as a kid throughout the whole thing just makes this movie sparkle, in my opinion.
Well, we will see him again on The Biscuit Eaters, whatever that means.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. So, there is no critic score for this movie because there's only 2 critical reviews, which I find really weird.
I mean, it's not a well-known movie. It's not even on Disney+.
But I looked it up, and the 2 critical reviews they have are both positive.
Oh, okay.
So
what's the Rotten Tomatoes score?
For the people, it's 44%. Which I get because because I think most of the people can't handle how slow this is.
It's pretty slow, and they're not, and honestly, not a lot happens.
And how heady it is.
So, do you know what this kind of has similar vibes to? Is Nikki, Wild Dog of the North. Because it's very slow and then it has a very action-packed ending. It's kind of similar. Like, there's nature, there's animals, there's bears. Like, it's probably the same bear that was used in Nikki. Like, let's be honest. But
I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
But I can't quite agree. But
that's fine.
I see where you're going. Okay, so now we're on to our next movie.
Wait, what is it? What time is it?
It's time for Kelly's favorite part of the podcast.
Oh. It is my favorite part because it's like a whole new world. A whole new world
of Kelly.
What if it got Aladdin? That would be crazy.
It is definitely not Aladdin.
Shut up. What is it? I'm scared.
It's number 337.
That's pretty new.
It is pretty new.
I'm going to say it's like 2015?
It's earlier than that, but...
2012.
Close enough. It's a movie I believe I have seen.
What? Wait a minute. You think you've seen this?
I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
Is it Tangled?
It is! Oh, nice work!
Only because you've mentioned that to me before.
From 2010, it is Tangled.
Oh, I'm so excited! So, I've seen this movie once, and I remember certain parts of it. I remember liking it.
Yeah, I also remember liking it, and I don't remember a lot else other than you can barely understand her.
What?
Doesn't she speak Scottish or something?
No, that's Brave.
Okay.
No. Tangled is Mandy Moore.
Maybe I haven't seen this. Oh.
No, Tangled is like Rapunzel.
Oh, no, I've seen this. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a good movie. So this is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I mean, do you remember it at all?
I remember I liked it. That's all I remember.
I only saw it the one time. I know that I liked the... There's some good songs, and I know that I liked the...
Isn't there, like, some evil step... something like that?
Yeah, there's, like, an evil stepmother. I think it's Susan Sarandon.
And a couple of ladies, though, right? Like a stepmother and sister, kind of like Cinderella?
No. It's just a stepmother, I think.
Oh.
And then there's the dude who's like a thief guy, but he's charming, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, he wants to a redhead. I don't blame him.
I don't... What? She doesn't have red hair. She has blonde hair. It's Rapunzel. You're confusing this with Brave, by the way. Brave is where she has a super crazy curly red hair and she's Scottish and you can't really understand her.
I'm still pretty sure I saw this, but I am confusing
I think you did see Tangled, but I don't really remember much about it at all.
I don't. Obviously, I don't remember much about it.
I remember, I think, the very, very end, like the climax of the movie. I remember that, what happens there, but... So I think this is a good movie. I don't know. It's definitely a popular movie, but...
I guess. Cool. It's fairly new, so maybe
I'm just really excited that I guessed it. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was really good.
Well, no, because you've mentioned it before that you've seen Tangled, so I was like...
And I think that you have nailed at least one more of these. I feel like we've high-fived on one other one.
Yeah, I don't know.
What it was.
I don't know.
We're way too far in to remember anything. Like,
I don't even remember what I did yesterday, so how am I supposed to remember what I did 5 movies ago?
What was the last movie we watched?
Napoleon and Samantha.
Besides that. Yeah, exactly.
Wait. It was, it wasn't Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I know. That's what I was thinking too, but it's not it.
Wait, but now I have to know. Hold on.
Oh, no.
No. Hold on. Just, shusha.
Shishay. Japan for
it was, what did we watch before this? Oh, God. Hold on. Boo. Wait. Oh! We watched Freaky Friday last time.
Oh, okay. Oh, and The Biscuit Eater is the movie right before Napoleon and Samantha. That's interesting.
Yikes.
Wait,
so what are... Tangled. Oh, I'm excited, actually. That'll be
Tongue-lid.
That'll be a fun movie. I haven't seen that. And that's actually episode 80, so then we'll have a bonus episode after that.
Woo! Good timing. In the meantime, if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at the Disney Movies with the Hearts. You'll see us. If you'd like to send us an email about any old little thing, at thedisneymovies@gmail.com.
Please like, subscribe, share with all your little Disney friends. Leave us a review. That would be groovy. We'd appreciate it.
And really, if your friends aren't Disney friends, also share, because we're pretty funny and this podcast works pretty well. So
yeah, and if
anybody likes a good time, just let them know about this.
And if you watch any of these movies, let us know your opinions. And
oh yes, especially something like this that's old, and especially if you're not over 40, or well, no, if you're not over 50. Please let us know. I'm pretty sure
Napoleon and Samantha, if you don't want to rent it on Amazon for $3.99, at least at the time of this recording, it's $3.99 USD. You can watch it on YouTube, actually, so for free. So you have no excuse. Get on it. And also, not to denigrate the people over 50, but most of those people are angry at us for hating on the older movies. So that's why I kind of sort you out. I just kind of am interested in what people who don't have nostalgia for some of these weird movies. Yeah, I mean, 2 kids with a lion going cross country, like with Michael Douglas in Oregon. Like what? I can't. But yeah, next week we will watch Tangled, and we'll tell you all about it. We'll get tangled up in the story, in the details. Oh my goodness. In the meantime, this has been At the Disney Movies with the Hearts. I'm Kelly. I'm David. Bye! What? It smells like shaving cream in here, which is really weird. I don't smell that.
I don't know, I cut a whiff.
He's crazy.
Is he?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Luke, you so crazy.
He's so crazy. Luke, you so crazy. You so cray, Lukey, Lukey.
Cray, Lukey, Luke, cray, Lukey, Luke.
I'm Samantha. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
I just plugged in like 2 minutes ago.
Might be, well, that was 2 minutes before me.
Yeah, but I had to like get situated and settled and comfy and take another drink. It's a whole process.
Luke, you such a pig.
He gets it where he can take it now.
Huh? He gets it where he can take it?
Or he takes it where he can get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, but look at how far away mine is from me. Maybe I'm just louder than you.
I think you might just be louder than me.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'm just a simple woman. I try to make it like as close to my face as possible.
No, I know, and you're doing great on that.
Like, I don't think I can get it any closer.
But if I'm any closer, I mean, I'm going to max it out.
Yeah, no, this is fine. This is totally fine. Okay, give me like 30 seconds, please.
Well, Lily still says that she needs about a minute.